Obama administration facing accusations it did not use all its resources to save the 4 American lives at Benghazi. Now Senator Pat Roberts, the most senior Marine in Congress, warning about the impact on our military. In a letter to President Obama, he writes, "You can be sure every single member of our United States military service now knows that the sacred bond of never leaving a comrade in distress or danger may be worthless as of the date of this disgrace." Senator Roberts is also the former chair of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. He joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta. Thank you.
You know, we all come to this with, or many of us, stunned. I mean, I don't understand why we have 2 different stories, and we should have one story, get it out, and let's be done with it. And we're not getting that out of the administration. You come from it as a Marine, and you say you've spoken to military members.
Well, we were having town hall meetings in Kansas, and usually in Kansas about this time of year, they're wondering, like everybody else, what's going to happen with the debt, what's going to happen with the fiscal cliff, all the regulations we're having, where's the farm bill? My gosh, we have a drought for 2 years. Not this time. 5, 6 town hall meetings, every meeting. American Legion members, just like John McCain said, VFW members, people who have been deployed, people who are deployed, people in the reserves. One young man comes up to me, he says, I was deployed 5 times. He had the same kind of mission. He says, I'm glad I'm out. I knew I was going to be in harm's way. That's why, that's why I signed up. But today, I don't think they'd have my back. Now, if that's true, and that starts to fester, I would hate to see any president bear that burden, whether it be Romney or Obama, and have that continue with anybody in harm's way, whether it be the intelligence community, State Department, or men and women in uniform.
You know, it's hard to tell what, if anything, they did do and might not be telling us. The problem is we can't seem to get, the president hasn't sat down and explained what happened. And so it's hard even to discern whether any efforts were made or whether they were reasonable to try them or anything. And so we're sitting mystery. And so we probe for answers and we can't get them. Well,
thank goodness you're probing. If it wasn't for you and Catherine and Jennifer, the 3 Musketeers, or whatever you want to say you are, but you're shining the light of truth into darkness. And this is a darkness that is amazing to me in regards to the national news media. I'm a former newspaper man. Where on earth are the journalists? I mean, a professional journalist. What is going on? We had Bill O'Reilly and Laura Ingraham just before you, or before you, saying, well, it's just not going to, really have any bearing on the election. Why not? Everybody's waiting around for Romney to say something. Do your job. Do the investigative reporting. This is a big, big story. We have so many different, when we had our first meeting, it must have been 6, 7 days afterwards, and the Secretary of State came in and said, well, I'm calling for an investigation. That's required by law. It took Jim Clapper 45 minutes to say, I don't know. The DOD guy said nothing. The FBI guy said, we asked, have you been to Benghazi? And he said, no, I'm up in Tripoli. Why aren't you in Benghazi? Well, it's not safe. Well, no kidding. And we've had more and more questions than answers. The president really ought to take about 2 hours, and that was the whole tone of my letter, and I tried to make it respectful, and say, you don't want this. President Romney, if he makes it, doesn't want this. You do not want to lose the morale of our service people that people put in harm's way. That's not right. And I don't like this response. After 9/11, we set up the Counterterrorism Threat Center. We set up all of these teams around the world. And we, meaning the Senate Intelligence Committee and the 9/11 people, and here we are again. First, the USS Cole. Well, that wasn't even first. It was the bombings in Africa. That wasn't even first. It was Mogadishu and Somalia and Black Hawk Down. And now we're to this, and we still haven't got it straight. What on earth is going on? Thank goodness that you're really searching for the truth.
It's particularly troubling. A Tunisian man was picked up who was caught on tape being there the day of the attack, and he got caught in Turkey with false papers and turned over to Tunisia. And the FBI still hasn't spoken to him. And Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, not the President of the United States, not anybody else, but Senator Lindsey Graham is trying to get permission for the FBI to be able to talk to him because the United States government, the Obama administration, has not been able, has either not pushed it or whatever. But here's an eyewitness, and nobody has spoken to him. Well, and Lindsey Graham's now trying to get it done.
I think it's the only eyewitness, except for your team, who are interviewing people on the ground that may be able to locate some other people. But the Secretary of State and the president himself should be on the phone to the folks in Tunisia and demand this and say, we have to have access to this guy to find out what's going on. Except this has been the doggonedest series of events where it's sort of a drip, 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 kind of revelation, and it doesn't make any sense. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Well,
I posted on GretaWire today an article I recommend to the viewers some foreign policy, not Fox News and not CBS or ABC, which done stories today, but foreign policy, talking about the fact that the FBI supposedly went in there, but it wasn't until October 26th, foreign policy went into that consulate. They found
the papers.
Yeah, October 26th, 7 weeks later. But hopefully we'll get some answers. We're pushing for them. Senator, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
And coming up, more on the stunning new